Here you now stand. This is my last fight. A true test of legends. Our story will outlive us both. Set a fire in your heart, Spartan. Bare your fangs. Fight hard. Die well.
Woo! It's showtime! Woo!
Halo as a franchise is very important to me. There are very few things I will consider myself a fan of, but this is one of them. It's strange because I've only been a fan for like 2 years or so. I wanted to share some of my thoughts on Infinite's cinematic and gameplay trailers, as well as some Halo opinions in general. I find it tiresome to have to say this, but I want to preface this discussion by saying that I am a fan of 343's work on Halo. That's really a discussion for another day, but I just don't want people to think that I'm another hater that only plays Halo 3 because it's supposedly a masterpiece. I think the biggest thing that Infinite has going for it is that it's a testament to the fact that 343 is a studio that is willing to listen to the fan base. Discover Hope is a living testament to this, that this is the Halo fans game. For me, this was a scary prospect. Not for the fact that we may have returned to classic Halo, but for the fact that 343 could potentially just give up on all the cool stuff they've done, only to please the masses. Take enhanced mobility, for instance. I thought for sure they were just going to do away with it because of the outrage from Halo 5. But I was very pleased to see that Halo Infinite allows you to use a grappling hook, among other sliding and dodging moves. I do think that additional movement options have a place in Halo. While it's clear people were not happy with what Halo 5 did with its movement, I think that traditional Halo did what it needed to do with classic Halo movement. Though it's probably a good idea to limit the use of the grappling hook just a little bit. Unlimited use would probably be really fun, but I fear that it would break the combat loop very quickly. It would probably be really difficult to balance the enemies with uninhibited use of the grappling hook, though I can already tell that the grapple hook is going to spawn some player-created fun, akin to flying with the energy sword in Halo 2. I have to say I'm a fan of the way this game looks. I've seen a lot of complaints about the visuals from a lot of people, but I can see that most of the issues are from a lack of detail in textures or lighting issues. I have full confidence that the issues will be taken care of by the time launch day gets here. I'll admit I was a bit sad to see the Halo 4/5 era armor be tossed aside, because come on, this shit is sexy as fuck. But the overall style and design is really working for me. The models are great and spot on, and the actual designs are pure art. I'm really happy to see enemies covered in colorful armor that pops out at you, and having brightly lit environments that are fun to play in. That was an issue I had with Halo 2 Anniversary, where I would almost exclusively play in that mode if it wasn't for their insistence on making areas so dark that it's unplayable. On top of that, the sound design was near perfect. Every weapon had this meaty, heavy boom that makes it feel amazing to fire. The assault rifle was a great example of this until Chief picked up a weapon called a commando and just started bopping mothers. Combined with snappy, weighty animations, the weapons left me feeling impressed. Things like plasma explosions and the jackal shield popping are a few other examples of good sound design in this demo. It's become very clear that Halo Infinite intends on giving the player plenty of space in this game, indicated by the inclusion of a world map with waypoints. I'm going to be going pretty against the grain on this one, but I'm not a fan of this. Personally, I find vehicle levels in Halo get boring pretty quickly, and I bring this up because having large play spaces will most likely necessitate the use of vehicles to get around very frequently. I think that you can get a lot more variety and fun by sticking to foot encounters. Now, Halo is usually pretty good with this, most often segmenting the level with some vehicle parts and then some foot parts. But I'm just fearful that a majority of Infinite is going to turn into a big team battle fever dream. It's not a huge deal, but something I had to bring up. As far as the narrative goes on this one, I'm really glad that we're finally done with the Covenant. Seeing 343 making excuses over and over again why the Covenant are still in their games was getting tiresome. The Banished are a welcome new enemy. Having a brute-led faction really makes all the difference story-wise. Especially in the case of this brute, Escharum, I believe it's pronounced. His speech is so good. It really elicits the feeling of respect between competitors, respect to those in the fight, something that the brutes hardly ever have represented. Also, I am so glad that they aren't bringing Atriox out right out of the gate. Save him for the climax of this new saga. This demo is a pretty good sign that Halo Infinite is moving in a good direction. There are a lot of things that interest me in this trailer, lots of toys I know I'm going to have a blast fooling around with. 343 has been super smart about the marketing, keeping a tight lid on everything until recently. Frankly, if I had my way, we wouldn't know anything about this game until a few months before its release, so I'm pretty happy with the marketing they're doing. As we get closer to launch, I find myself getting more and more excited for this game. I didn't want to go too in depth with this one, just say a few things that I noticed, but I hope you all enjoyed and are as excited for this game as I am. As always, thank you and take care out there.